on the horn and pass it to you.
Yeah, and then once you run, and if you go, you're not even paying.
And the Frank's going to have another over 11 years restored. And that will be the Keystone Crown there and pass over the years.
You see the top?
Take it away.
See how they work? See that front thing? Something hits that.
like on the other side. Rapid transit cars and whistles that Bill, how about give us a couple minutes and pass this review? These cars were the rapid transit companies that got these were brought out by the CTA. 4410 and 4412, the motorman on this car is Dan Rupp. Dan, an old-time member, Dan, give us a couple of tweets at passing review. Thanks, Nick. is an example of the North Shoreline defense. The house line days, we have the most group mileage. Keep it right though, the same part of Louisiana, and this part of Louisiana, out of Louisiana.
Next done. Hey, we're getting closer.
If you recall, the last two locomotives I mentioned, so folks, the streetcar companies always had to work on their tracks and the right-of-way, and now we have an example here of some pieces of work equipment, the road. Thank you, George. So folks, just like the dump cars that you saw, the streetcar and interurban companies needed to work on the overhead wires too, not just on the tracks. So they had cars that were called line cars. This car, the 604, was built in 1914 by the Chicago-Milwaukee Electric Railway at their Highwood, Illinois shops. That was the main shop of the Chicago-Milwaukee Electric and later the North Shoreline. These were specialized cars that they used for working on the overhead wires as well as constructing the overhead for the railroads when they first went into operation. Tom is going to demonstrate here what they used to do. There was a platform on the top of the cars that was raised using an air motor that's inside the car itself. The platform was then swung to the side when they needed to work on the poles, or they were just kept in the same position there for working on the overhead wires. It would get the workmen up to the height that they needed for working on the overhead wires. Tom's demonstrating what they used to do. Tom's hanging on to the overhead trolley wires. Don't you do that, folks. He's an expert at it, but he's on an insulated platform up there. The 604 was the mainstay of the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee. They had 2 line cars. This is the only one that survived, the only one of its kind in existence from the North Shore line. Bob Rainick, the motorman on there, is the head of our line department, and Bob and Tom and all the guys have put up all of the overhead trolley work that you see here at the museum, as well as maintained. Now, folks, we want to direct your attention over to the structure underneath the car. There's approximately 6,500 man-hours of work to date in the rebuilding of this car. The car was acquired and moved to the Illinois Railway Museum in February of 1993. On May 1st, 1994, work began on rebuilding the car. The car was stripped to the bare frame and repairs were made to the framing. By September of 94, the framing was repaired and new siding was applied and the car was sitting on its trucks again. At this time it was brought out of the building for photographs. Work has continued on the interior of the car. And during 1995 Trolley Parade, if you were here last year, you would have seen this car on display for the first time for the public to view the work in progress. If you remember the car last year, it was still all of the natural... company was cut back to 45 Illinois. And we had to get her to an elevated car then to ride downtown to the job. Well, that is those two lines came together at Wheaton, Illinois, and then they ran non-stop to downtown. There's a couple of orders that were in the band. That order was, I believe, 1203. This time, and the company did that all the trains brought back to Forest Park to the Wheaton side, so that when the computer got to Forest Park at the end of the workday on the album, there was Randy was the fellow.